Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to talk about 5 or 6 brawlers who I believe have fallen off the most in the ranked competitive meta, with balance changes coming, and just even in the previous meta, there's been a few brawlers that I've been noting that have just not really seen any kind of play rate. So Draco being one of them. Draco received about 3 months ago, I think it was a couple of days ago now, he received a few nerfs to his speed whilst in his dragon form, and I can't remember the other one. It might have been another one, and it might not have been, but anyways, with Draco, I think the main thing that has impacted him, of course, the hypercharge has been receiving some nerfs, but I just think it has to be the speed. I think it's just a lot easier to maintain now, which is going to make him, again, more easy to take down when it's inside of hot zone. In particular, hot zone is the one I'm thinking of, because hot zone used to always be the go-to game mode for Draco, and literally the other time I've seen Draco being played was when I was watching the icebreaker tournament a couple of days ago. I think it was EMEA or something, but that was when there was 2 global bans per team, and there was, I don't know, there was 2 global bans per team, and that was the only way you can make Draco work, and it was only when he was in a really specific composition. So yeah, Draco, I mean, he could still be used in heist and hot zone, heist, hot zone. He's actually pretty decent in heist, because with this exposed star power, which is pretty underrated, you can deal a lot of damage to the safe, but outside of that, I don't really see too much use point for a Draco. So thankfully we've got a hypercharge pretty soon. We should just be able to wreck these guys any second now. Hopefully our teammates can defend that. I think even if this Otis mutes us, there we go, we should be good to go. We could just run into this corner over here, and we've got a hypercharge to use. We've got to go pretty soon, so let's pop our hypercharge now, pop our gadget, and just I probably shouldn't have gone around the outside there. I should have just gone straight forward and finished the game. But Draco was surprisingly all right there. I mean, again, I'm not saying that Draco is absolutely unusable and terrible. You know, these aren't the worst brawlers in the game, but we're going from Draco being a low A tier brawler to a brawler that was used literally no matter what in hot zone. You could play Draco and you'll win. Maybe he's been underrated right now, but I'm just noting that he's definitely fallen off quite dramatically. His play rates are just not there. He's still pretty fun, but he's just not that good in competitive. So let's jump into the next one. All right, guys, jumping into the next brawler who I believe has fallen off the most within, I'd say, a 6-month period here, not just from this meta. It has to be Nita. So Nita's just been declining in the meta after a while, just because she really likes the range, and you think of other mid-range brawlers, they're just far better than her. I mean, suppose since the Buffy's update, she's just got even worse, but I just thought she was already pretty terrible, so how could she get any worse? So I think D tier for her. She's not really, she's only usable, I would say, on hot potato or pit stop, when as Nita, as Bruce can deal a lot of damage when you turn your defense into offense, literally purely through Bruce. So yeah, I think this is one of the only few underrated use cases for Nita here, because I'm feeding off Frank, and then I am using my bear to push the Grey all the way back into spawn. That's pretty much the only way I've been making Nita work here. So let's just throw out my bear. I mean, bro is going to stun my bear, but I should be able to at least get my super back from the Frank, and then, okay, I'm 1 shot away. But yeah, with Nita, you think of the Buffy brawlers, right? You've got Spike and Ems, who are just these mid, brawlers you use around the mid, and they're just much better right now in the meta. You think of just loads of maps you can just outrange Nita or just overpower her. So she's supposed to counter these, she's supposed to counter a lot of brawlers, single shot brawlers being the main one, but even tanks, she doesn't have that good of a matchup in comparison to other brawlers. I think even say Shade, for example, you should be able to feed a little bit from Shade, or I don't know, trying to think of tanks or assassins that you can feed somewhat from. Well, most of the time you can still just overrule Nita. You can just run into her and just still out damage Nita before Bruce can even do anything. So you can see here, as I've kind of ramped up, I've done a decent job, like I said, underrated into things like Meeple and Grey. That's probably about it. I mean, it did actually really work fantastically here, so maybe I need to start using this a bit more. But I think overall, yeah, I'm just not really using Nita. You think of Gem Grab, you think of Brawl, she gets countered way too easily. You think of Heist, there's better defenders, there's better brawlers that can turn defense to offense. So where do you really use Nita right now? I don't know. So maybe she's in need of a Buffy pretty soon. But yeah, pretty mid right now. Let's jump into the next one. Guys, jumping into the third brawler who I believe has fallen off dramatically within the last couple of months, it has to be Jae Young. So Jae Young's a funny one, because I don't think he's terrible again, but we just don't see him. Jae Young used to be like high A tier brawler or S tier brawler for the longest time, and within the previous, I'd say 6 weeks since Buffy's release, I don't see any Jae Young, like, and I mean any. I don't think, like, this is the first time I've seen him, and that's because I'm having to use him. So has he fallen off? Is he underrated? We'll have to see. There's probably a few reasons as to why. Of course, the nerf may be just catching up to him. The nerf was with his unload speed, which of course would hurt him, especially in a really aggressive Buffy meta. But I just think overall, okay, the Shade just needs to go away from the Cordelius, and he just keeps running into the Cord. I don't know. I think the main thing is just pure damage. I just don't think he has enough to really keep up with betters. And like here, I can't do anything into these healers. This is just so painful. I just don't know what our Shade is doing. He's just walking into all of the damage. Bro just needs to relax. Okay, I don't know if I can kill this Grey. Just gonna pop my heal in. Hopefully Juju's got enough in the tank. Bro, how am I still just getting wrecked everywhere I go? Okay, finally we get a bit of control there. Finally. Right, I'm gonna push up on Shade. Shade, just go. Go, go, go. There's no Cordelius. Please just go. I'm trying to save you right now, but I can't really do a lot of damage. Okay, time to pop our damage gadget. Maybe the damage gadget nerf actually impacted him a lot more than anticipated. So I'm gonna have to pop hypercharge here just so I can get some more healing. There we go. And we need to get this Grey ASAP. Oh, this is looking sketchy. Please. Juju, what are you doing? What are you actually doing? Bro just walked into 3 shots in a row. Talk about a fumble, but it's just nothing that we can do in this situation, is there? Alright, Jae Young, I mean, this isn't the best map for him, but you don't see him in knockout bouncy really anymore. I feel like it's really easy just to overall now, since maybe that damage gadget nerf has made much more of a bigger impact than I realized. So yeah, I don't see him in scrims, I don't see him in tournaments, I don't see him in ranked. So maybe we have to talk about Jae Young being a fraud. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Alright guys, jumping into the next brawler who I believe has fallen off probably the most out of every brawler on this list, and that's why I'm even recording it when I'm 1-0 down, because I've already played 1 game of Ollie and he just felt terrible in this meta. Well, against that matchup, they had like a Frank, they had a Mo. I just couldn't do anything against any of them. And then even here, like I pick Ollie, they just go Shelly, who was one of the best brawlers. Well, she's not really as strong as before, but you know, she's even more of an option than ever before. Like I said, Frank is at the top of the meta. There just seems to be too many brawlers that are just able to counter Ollie. Ollie can't get close enough. He's just really not good. His hypercharge takes forever to get, even though his gadget, so his gadget received a nerf, right? All eyes on me. A few months ago when he was extremely meta, and then that nerf kind of got reverted, so now it's 15 seconds instead of the 18 seconds or whatever it should have been. So theoretically, like, he's should be where he's at from before, if that makes sense. Well, not like in his prime, but I just think the meta's just changed so much it doesn't allow him to do anything. So maybe in a funny way here, we might be able to win this round. Let's see. I don't really have too much hope. Let's see. All right. So yeah, all eyes on me can still combine with Super to just make a really good play. So I might just go for it here. See if we can make a play with Shelly here. Okay, that was terrible. That was really bad. And I don't know if a Jae Young and a Mortis can deal with a Shelly here whatsoever. Yeah, I'm just frustrated playing Ollie, because there's also a few more brawlers as well, which I'll go into the last one, which I've been trying to play and I just can't get wins with whatsoever. And Ollie used to be really good at knockout, bounty. I just think there's far too many brawlers at the top of the meta. Wait, let me just rewind back to the best brawlers in the game. You know, you've got Spike, you've got Pierce, who can just destroy Ollie. You've got Ruffs, who can break open the map and still do a lot of damage. You've got Meeple, who's at the top. Shelly, like I said, Mina's just a better version of Ollie that can create space. Ollie is like a space creator or a playmaker. When you have brawlers like Mina that can just do that much easier, why would you go a brawler like Ollie? So, let's see whether it can really do anything here against a Shelly and a Ruffs. I know I probably rushed that interaction there, but I think as the game goes on, it's going to be harder and harder for me to do anything once all of the teammates get their power-ups. So, yeah, we have a hypercharge Shelly here, and a hypercharge Byron, which is going to be absolutely painful. And look, I'm just a sitting duck here. What can I actually do? What can I do in this moment? I mean, maybe we can make a play on these guys. Okay, we can get a kill on Byron, maybe. I'm actually going to pop hypercharge here and try and get away. Let's use it here to try and... Oh, okay, Shelly just pushed me back. I don't know if I'm going to have any hope against this Shelly here. Ah, come on. No, I was just about to get my gadget. Painful. Painful. I don't know. Like, I could have played it better. I didn't really play it that bad. Look, 6 and 4, did the best in my team. Ollie's just fallen off. He might even starting to be going down to the D tier again. I don't see a place for him. Again, I'm yet to really see him when I'm watching scrims, tournaments. I don't remember or recall a time that I played Ollie. I probably need to look at the stats now with the balance changes. But I think if anything, he's probably getting even worse. You'd think it'd indirectly get better, but he's not. He's just fallen off the meta. Let's jump into the final one. Right, guys, jumping into the final brawler on this list. And again, I'm recording when we've already lost again because I don't have much faith in this brawler right now in the meta, which is, I won't really say sad to say, but Buster's always been a constant in the meta, right? Consistent brawler. He's always been good on maps like double switch, literally like this one, or knockout, a few instances. But I think he's really lost his place in the meta. This is probably the worst he's been in a long time. Mainly because buffy brawlers just purely deal too much damage for him to deal with. But even like brawlers like Otis here, deals a lot of damage and can just wreck a Buster. I'm not too sure whether Buster received a health buff or whether he did. It was just a small one to revert previous health nerfs, if that made sense. So, I don't know, I think he's really lost his case in the meta. You think as well, especially Buster, he's really good into brawlers that shoot multiple projectiles, right? So, but normally, I think, especially now as the metas have gone on, I think brawlers like GG are probably a bit better, and just like I said, they can make more of the map than a Buster can. For example, as well, like knockout, I'm just finding him just not being that great. Maybe there's one map, you know, the map where there's like one bush at the bottom, one bush at the top. Buster's probably good there. Now, outside of that, where else would you use Buster? Where else am I seeing Buster? Pretty much nowhere. So yeah, it is a very telling time for Buster. Again, I think there's a big reason. Just take a look at the top meta brawlers. Spike, Ems, Frank, all of these brawlers just completely wreck Buster. I just can't do anything into any of them. It doesn't matter how well I play. I'm playing a really passive game here, and I don't know why my squeak was going mid the entire game. But trust me, I was sweating my hardest in the first round. I just can't do anything with Buster. I actually can't do a single thing. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know where the biggest problem is with Buster, to be honest. Maybe it's the damage. Maybe he just gets wrecked. Maybe he needs a bit more health. He just lost his place in the meta. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Look how much elo I lost. I was in Masters at the beginning of this. So do not play these brawlers that I've been playing. They're bad. Like, this is why I'm losing. These are just terrible brawlers. I've also got like Ziggy, Mr. B, and 8-bit in here as well. Ziggy, he's just absolutely terrible right now. Like, he had a small niche in the competitive meta a few months ago, but he's terrible. And yeah, Mr. B, 8-bit, yeah. So that's going to be it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.